Hey everyone! So this is my first video blog, hopefully in a long series of video blogs. And I'm bringing this to you because, as some of you may know, I work at an animal shelter. If you don't know that, you do now. And before I go any further, I just want to say that I'm not going to mention the name of my animal shelter, but just in case any of you deduce it or already know it, I want to say that I'm not a representative of the shelter that I work at. I work for an open admission shelter. So that's what I'm actually going to be talking about today, is what is an open admission shelter. An open admission shelter is a shelter that is similar to, oh hi, this is Tempest. Tempest is 5. Where was I? So an open admission shelter is a shelter that will take in any animal. It's kind of similar to the Equal Opportunity Act. For example, an employer won't discriminate based on age, sex, creed, religion, all of those things. And an open admission shelter works much the same way. We don't discriminate which animals we take in. We'll take in anything from a 1-day-old puppy to a 17-year-old dog. We'll take in aggressive and dangerous dogs. And then, of course, we'll take in your normal dog. So even if we don't have the space in our shelter, we'll still take the animals in. We'll make space. And the opposite of an open admission shelter is a limited admission shelter. And a limited admission shelter is a shelter that most people would call a rescue. And the great thing about a limited admission shelter is they get to choose which animals they take in. So a lot of them are breed-based, so some might only take in Yorkies, or some might only take in large breeds. And most of the time, these animals are only animals that they know that they can adopt out, or have the resources to make adoptable. Open admission shelters often utilize these rescues and limited admission shelters when we have an animal that we don't have the resources to work with or the resources to place into a home. So we'll often transfer these animals out and hope that we're giving them their best chance at finding their forever home. The number of owned animals in 2012 is estimated to be at about 179 million, and that's just cats and dogs. The number of stray animals in 2012, 70 million. 70 million. That's a lot. When was the last time you have ever had 70 million of anything? Never. I don't actually know. So maybe you have 70 million of something and you should be sharing. But I don't have 70 million of anything, and I don't think any of my friends have 70 million of anything. So 70 million. The unfortunate reality of this number is that we can't place all of these animals. We have a variety of different resources that we can use. Sometimes we'll transfer an animal to one of the limited admission shelters that I mentioned earlier. A lot of times those will have more resources because they take in fewer animals. We can also try foster parents for any animal that might not be ready for adoption right now, but has an issue that we can work with and make them adoptable. Being a nonprofit organization means that we have limited resources, but unfortunately resources run out. So even though we take in all animals, we can't safely or effectively adopt all of them out. And it's because of this that open admission shelters perform euthanasia. Do you want a dog that escaped its yard and killed another animal or mauled a child living next to your grandma? Do you want that to be your neighbor's dog? Maybe you have children. Do you want that as your own dog? Or what about a cat that you can't even touch? Or a cat that's so fearful it can't even function? Or would you want to pay even $100 to adopt a dog that might pass away in the next 6 months? These are all issues that we face when we're trying to decide if an animal is an adoptable animal. I don't speak for all shelters when I say this, but at our open admission shelter, our animals don't have a shelf life. Once they are made available for adoption, after they've passed behavioral evaluations and medical assessments, they stay on the adoption floor until they get adopted. If an animal does remain on the adoption floor for an extended period of time, and by extended I mean a month, 2 months, that animal will sometimes get transferred to another facility. They might have the person who will want to take that animal home. Just because we don't have that right owner in our community doesn't mean that the neighboring community doesn't have that owner. So we'll try to transfer those animals out to see if they have a better chance of getting adopted at a different area. That's the goal, to reduce the number of animals without a home and to reduce the number of animals subjected to cruelty each year. Alright, that is my spiel. If you have any questions, get them to me. I will try to answer any and all of them as best that I can. I may not have all the answers, but I will do my best. Comment here on YouTube. You can go to my blog and comment there. There will be a text version up of this. Remember, text me, call me, email me. If you want to just tell me that I'm a terrible person, I'm not going to tell you not to, because that's not my philosophy, but that's not going to make me feel very good. So get those questions to me because I want to answer them. I want to have an open discussion. So share this video, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your mom. I want to dispel any myths or rumors that you might have heard. And I will be honest with you. So send me your comments. Follow my page, especially if you liked what you heard today, or like me, or already follow me, or are my friend, because if you're my friend, you should be following me. Follow me. That's the point. So adopt a shelter pet. Go to your local shelter, go to your local animal rescue, and give a pet its forever home. They really, really appreciate it, and they really, really deserve it. And don't kick your dog. Don't hit your cat. If you see any animal abuse, report it to your local animal shelter. Spay, neuter your pets. That's the end of my speech.